Brian Doherty with Total Farm Marketing, our guest today. Brian, as we take a look at where this corn market is, we touched $6 on those front month contracts. What does that tell us about the strength in this corn market and maybe about what to plan for in 2022?
Yeah, there isn't a person out there who's trying to outguess, what's behind it, whether it's ethanol, whether it's lack of strong farmers selling, whether it's some of us probably still are biased to believe that crops may have been overestimated, in particular 19 and 20, lighter test weight, things like that, where the carry-in is actually less, so there may actually be less supply on hand. So there's a lot of forces that have come into play that seem to be driving the market. We had a harvest type low, and now we've got a harvest recovery. The $6 area, Clinton, that puts corn back to where it was back in June. So think about that as a farmer. So very specifically, how do you manage that? Because if you were on the sidelines kind of doing nothing here lately, that's paid dividends, but at some point that may not. So we'd like to kind of encourage more of a strategic approach. What's on the tap right now is you've got a Southern Hemisphere weather market, but you probably have a record amount of beans coming out of the Southern Hemisphere and a chance for a record amount of corn coming out of the Southern Hemisphere. So this picture could look a whole lot different. So if we want to take the mindset that we'll assume normal production in that part of the world until proven otherwise, there's probably bigger supply numbers coming, and that means there's some downside risk, and maybe a lot of downside risk if there's some type of a black swan or this COVID thing really shuts things down again. So we don't rest easy. The markets are always in flux. We want to talk about very specific strategies to manage the risk and take advantage of the opportunities.
Still a chance for profits in 2022?
Oh, sure. You've got a new crop contract that really is kind of stuck at about $5.50 on corn and $12.50 on soybeans. You've got upward momentum in markets, but I wouldn't expect that all of a sudden they're going to explode. I think it takes weather in the northern hemisphere to get that kind of a push. But if we see decent corn in that $5.75, $6 area, you need to take advantage of that. The world will respond to higher prices in some capacity or another, usually through increased production, a little bit less demand.
Okay. All right. Well, it'll be something to keep an eye on as we go through a new year. Thank you so much, Brian, for being here. We'll be back with more Ag Day coming up in just a minute.
To discuss marketing strategies, call 800-334-9779.